In this video, I want to cover what we call remediation actions, and basically creating these remediation action scripts as ways to apply remediations directly through a script rather than direct edit to a record. So an example, I just ran a review for just a handful of rules just so I can get a subset of records to kind of look at. And one of those records I have out here, so some business rules out here that are logging for the presence of this GS log or GS print rule being part of my business rule. And this in essence is highlighting this because having log functions is going to build up our syslog, and in production you don't necessarily need the log output. So something good to remove before you move it to production. So if we go to edit the record, we will see that this particular script has references to gs.log. So you'll see kind of that in these functions here, right, to log out different things. Right, same thing can be found if I look at a couple other business rules here, same activity, some gs log kind of statements in this output here. Now this one might have a couple, right? So this one has one here, also has one here at the end that are basically log outputs. Now the way you'd fix this typically is you'd remove these records, but you could also go and create a remediation action. And the way this kind of works is over here you'll have remediation actions. There's a couple that we have canned already. But I can go create new. Now the one thing I want to highlight here first and foremost is highlight a couple things. One is there is an application scope. So you want to create these in a scope that has rights to update the target record. So in circumstances here I'm scanning things like global scope business rules. It might make sense for me to define my remediation action in the global scope so it has rights to make those updates directly. The other thing I want to call out, you'll see as I create the new one, it kind of pre-scripts the script, kind of your code goes here. And so part of this script has this set update set. Now this is on the review itself, there's a place to set what the update set is for the logged remediations. What this is doing is in essence setting the current update set, or setting that update set to the current update set to record this code change into. The other thing you'll see is there's some references to variables, current being the current record we're targeting, the finding record that was associated with that, the rule and the finding. The action record is this record itself, and the update set being this update set that we are connecting to. Now rather than type all this stuff around, I'm just going to copy and paste some of the code I've already got. So this remediation action we're going to put in here is specific to removing those lines. So I've copied my code in here. The couple of attributes to highlight here, there's an available condition. So you might have situations where you only want to say if this property has been set, or if the person has this particular role, or something of those natures. You could say I only want this action to show up under some sort of condition. The other flag to highlight is this workaround flag. Now what this is going to do is it's going to basically say if I apply this remediation action as a remediation to a finding, if it's flagged as a workaround, we're going to ignore testing whether that rule has been satisfied or cleared. So in essence, it can be an action to perform that we don't expect that rule to alleviate or get rid of, but we can apply as a valid workaround. All right, so we've created the action. Now this is one part of the solution. So now we have a canned action that we can associate to these rules. But now what we have to do is kind of link this to the rule. So I can come to this kind of finding record. I can navigate to the rule. And where I attach remediation actions is down below here. There's a remediation actions list. All right, so I can come in and find my remove GS log lines kind of action. I can save this rule. Now, if I were to refresh my findings here, pull open our business rule one that has this, under my actions now, what I'll see is there's a run action kind of option. Now, if there's multiple actions associated to a rule, they will show as run action this, run action that in my various list. Now, the way this is going to work then, if I apply this, it's going to basically queue up a background schedule kind of activity. And it's going to, at this point, mark it as in progress while it's running. Once it's been applied, it's going to then, in this case, since it's not flagged as a workaround, it's going to come and retest the rule to see if it's been satisfied. And if it is, then it should mark it as clear. So if I go to complete, I should see this is now remediated. I can also come to my source kind of business rule, and now we can find that those GS log lines are gone. Now just to take a quick look at our script, just so you can highlight a little bit of what we're doing here. we're basically capturing if this particular script has a value, go grab that script, break it into lines, look for any lines that contain gs.log, open paren something, and highlight which lines to remove, basically remove all those different lines, set the new script to build, join those together, update that script, update that record, mark it as complete. So in essence, scripting through removing the lines that have gslog and kind of recompiling it back together. So, and again, if there were a failure with the process, if this had failed, it would go into a failed status. We could then go do and edit that record, kind of manually make the update as part of those activities. So that's kind of what I wanted to cover as far as remediation actions, a set of scripts you can apply to a record to perform an update directly for you, assuming that's something that can be reusable in the package-based solution that can be applied to any given finding that can be remediated. So I hope this was helpful, and I thank you for your time. Thank you.